3 marked the end of Mario's adventures on 8-bit home consoles, as the 16-bit Sega Genesis would put pressure on Nintendo upgrade as well. Nintendo answer, the Super Nintendo, wouldn't come until 1990 for Japan and 1991 for the US, but when it did, it brought with it Super Mario World. Yes, this was a launch title, and despite that, it is constantly battling Super Mario Bros. 3 for the best 2D Mario game. So, what is it that makes Mario World so much better to some players? What is it that's so super about Mario's 16-bit jump? And most importantly, is it worth your time? Well, let's go ahead and find out. Due to working with new technology, Super Mario World started as a port of Super Mario Bros. 3 for the Super Nintendo. I can guess that the port they made would morph into or at least be revisited later with Super Mario All-Stars, as the dev team felt the new graphics wasn't enough for Mario on the new system. As a result, the team would restart with the focus on creating something new. The team would work using ideas not possible on the NES, such as giving Mario a raggable companion, and what we ended up with was Super Mario Bros. 4 Super Mario World, though the US release would drop the Super Mario Bros. 4 part of the title. The story is as you would expect. Bowser has invaded Dinosaur Land and kidnapped Princess Peach while he was at it. However, he isn't alone, as the Koopalings are back too, with each one kidnapping a Yoshi egg. For that reason, Mario and his new friend Yoshi team up to put a stop to the Koopa schemes and save the day. Things are similar to Super Mario Bros. 3, but there are some overhauls. To start, the world map shows the entire game with all levels you can play instead of just one world at a time. In fact, this game doesn't really have worlds in the traditional sense. Dinosaur Land has a variety of areas, and the stages can vary based on where you are on the world map, and it's not very strict either. When it comes to regular stages, we actually have a bit less variety than Mario 3. You have the grassy plains of Yoshi's Island and the Donut Plains, the underground caverns of the Vanilla Dome, the mountainous Cookie Mountain. Okay, why are all the areas named after food? What's next? Chocolate Island? Motherfucker! Besides those, you also have the Forest of Illusion, a few side areas like the Cheese Bridge area, and the final area is the Valley of Bowser. Overall differences between areas are more subtle than the dramatic variety of different worlds brought by Mario 3. Once you select a stage to play, you'll immediately get control of Mario, and it's simply amazing. Mario has great speed, and you get a lot of control of him in the air. Some people think it's a little too floaty compared to Mario 3, and while I can agree sometimes, most of the time I love it and it allows me to do things that were challenging in the previous games with ease. Mario can run and duck like before, and he can once again grab Koopa shells, but now you can also throw them up into the air too, an addition I like. With more buttons, there's a little more to do as well, and by that I mean the spin jump. The spin jump allows Mario to jump on things that you can't with a regular jump, but the spin jump is also quite a bit shorter to compensate. It's a little addition, but one I think works well. They should really bring this back. There are plenty of stage gimmicks, just like in Mario 3 too. New blocks you can jump through after hitting, or break through with a spin jump, pipes that launch you into the air, platforms floating on water, platforms moving through the air, returning P-switches, and a lot more. The stages may be more subtle in visual variety, but the level design is still damn good and offers plenty of new challenges around every turn. Not every enemy returns from before, but the basics like Koopas and Goombas do. There are also new enemies like dinosaurs that take 2 jumps to kill or 1 spin jump, giant bullet bills, wigglers, fuzzies, charging chucks, and so on. All of them offer a new flavor of challenge and are fun to deal with, just like the enemies of Mario 3. Fortresses return too, but instead of being a mid-world challenge, they are back to how they were in Mario 1, being the end goal of an area where you fight the Koopaling inside. These boss fights may be even easier than before thinking about it, but on the plus side they are more varied and interesting at the very least. The fortresses themselves are about what you would expect too, lots of lava, thwomps, and dry bones. There are also now grates that Mario can climb on too. Though none of them are mazes this time, instead that element has been removed and given to the new ghost houses. Here you run into the returning boos, which is a change I like because in the previous games, dealing with the more challenging platforming combined with the puzzle elements and castles was a little much. Now both can be leaned into more heavily with them being separate stages. If you're a fan of the variety of power-ups in Mario 3, you may be underwhelmed this time. First, the system was overhauled a bit. Now you can hold 2 power-ups at a time, with the extra power being held in a box that releases the upgrade if you take a hit, or manually release it with the select button. Though I kind of hate the automatic release, because if you're in a bad spot, you can end up just losing your spare upgrade, and that just sucks. We're also back to Mario 1 Sorgo, with getting hit taking you back to an unpowered state instead of downgrading you to Super Mario like in Mario 3. Though a mushroom counts as its own item now that goes into the box when you get powered up, so outside of those situations where you can't get your spare item, you do technically still get an extra hit point when powered up. Where things get underwhelming is the number of power-ups. The only ones returning are the classic Mushroom, Fireflower, and Starman. The game also only adds a limited number too. New is the Cape Feather, allowing Mario to attack enemies with a spin attack, hover in midair, run up certain walls, and when running just straight up fly if you tap back on the D-pad with the right rhythm. Safe to say this is one of the most broken power-ups in Mario history. There's also the P-Balloon, which don't look up on the internet if you don't have any bleach on hand.
Freak! Don't you have enough? Get out of here! Go away!
Thank God I'm blind.
The P-Balloon inflates Mario and lets him float around. And that's it. I guess the devs expected the sheer brokenness of the Cape Feather to make up for the lack of variety. That, or they expected Yoshi to pick up the slack. In many stages you can find Yoshi, who can eat enemies with his tongue. Not only that, but you can jump on enemies the same as Mario's spin jump without the height penalty, stacks on top of regular power-ups and allows Mario to take an additional hit similar to the Goomba shoe in Mario 3, and when you get hit, if you can jump back on him before he runs into a pit or something else that will get rid of him, you can get Yoshi back. Also, Yoshi has some additional abilities, such as different powers when swallowing a Koopa shell, such as spitting out fire with a red one. And if you fight secret areas, you can get different colored Yoshis with extra abilities like blue ones to be able to fly. Yoshi has a lot of versatility, though he won't go into fortress levels or ghost houses, so keep that in mind. Levels also now have checkpoints. Officially I mean, because every game except for Mario 3 had invisible checkpoints. But now there are official checkpoint posts that will even give you a free mushroom if you don't have any power-ups when passing them. And this stage is done by crossing a giant finish line with tape, and if you hit the tape you get star points based on how high it was. Get enough points and you get a minigame for a chance at extra lives. You can also complete stages by finding secret exits, which require you to take a key to a keyhole. Secret exits will unlock secret stages on the world map, which include switch palaces to coloring otherwise invisible blocks, extra fortress stages with fights against Reznor, which is a fight barely above Boom Boom from Mario 3. In the case of the Forest of Illusion, finding secret exits are required to progress with the game. Eventually you'll conquer the ghost ship, opening up the way into the Valley of Bowser, where you have a few more challenging stages but with good level design that doesn't make me question what game I'm playing. And upon completing these stages, you can enter the funhouse of hell that is Bowser's castle. Or if you take some secret exits, you can go in through the back door. Look, try to make fun of the back door all you want, but Bowser has to get into his castle somehow. And I doubt he's jumping through all the death traps himself. Anyway, Bowser's in a giant clown copter for some reason. Okay, maybe I was wrong to defend his backdoor decision. And here's the princess right with him. I gotta say, this is actually a really great boss fight. The power of the Super Nintendo shines with some neat effects, and it's a lot of fun to dodge Bowser and throw the Robo Koopas back at him. Princess Peach even helps out and gives you some power-ups throughout the fight. Once you defeat him, he flies out of your TV into oblivion, and the princess is saved. Also, Peach is finally blonde in the game like her promotional art has always depicted her, so the days of brunette Peach are behind us. Or is that red hair? Yes, game, I can't tell. Now let me be upfront. Before these videos, I've never gotten past Chocolate Island in Mario World, which would be the equivalent of Make It World 7 in any other game I'd say, and the furthest I played in Mario 3 was World 3. I had my reasons for not finishing these games despite multiple times of picking them up and putting them down, but now I really do enjoy both games. I am more of a fan of 3D Mario than 2D Mario, like emulating these titles like I did back in the day didn't help with completing them. For that reason, I never really held a stance on the Mario 3 vs Mario World debate, but now, I gotta say I think my stance is with Mario World. Yeah, Mario 3 has the variety in power-ups, lots of visually stunning worlds, and is one of, if not the best game on the NES. But Mario World refines that into Mario. It's what I expect from a Mario game, and it refines the elements I like about Mario into something great. The graphics are bright and colorful, Mario controls incredibly well, the music is catchy, the level design is top notch, and it has a wacky charm that I think sticks better than Super Mario Bros. 3, even if that game is charming too. I have nothing to complain about with Super Mario World. I can't even think of anything to nitpick about the game because while I was recording, I was just having fun. Lots of fun. I'm not saying Mario 3 isn't fun, I said a lot of good things in the last video on it and it was also a blast. However, if I'm gonna pick up either of these games again anytime soon, it's gonna be Super Mario World. And if you only had to pick one to play, I suggest you make Mario's amazing 16-bit adventure your choice. But if you go play any of the games before Super Mario World, you may have noticed that my cartridge is not just Super Mario World, but instead Super Mario All-Stars plus Super Mario World. I've mentioned it a couple times in the other videos, but Super Mario All-Stars is a collection of 16-bit remakes of the previous games. It comes with refined control, improved graphics, and new music and sound. Mario 1, 2 USA, and 3 are classic stages you'd expect with control I think is an overall improvement from the NES days. And its improvements without just making it Super Mario World. Mario 2, the designers were too lazy to playtest their Kaizo hack, also has some improvements such as only needing to beat the game once to access Worlds 9 and A through D. I'm pretty happy this cartridge came with the Super Nintendo I got off eBay because it has all Mario's classics in one place. If I ever talk more about these games in the future, it will certainly be through this collection. So with that, my personal celebration of Mario's 40th anniversary comes to an end. I'm certainly looking forward to covering his 3D adventures in the future because I still do like those games more, but I have a new appreciation for games like Mario 3 and Super Mario World. I also enjoy the arcade Donkey Kong and get a kick for Mario 1, so that was a blast as well. These are all great games and deserve being checked out. Still, it's time to move on. I have plans in motion for what the next retrospective is gonna be. Before we get to that, it's time to cover the game that has been distracting me from getting these Mario videos out faster. Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's been out for over a month now and I originally planned to look at this before the Mario games, but this is a long game and I think I made the correct call to cover the Mario games first. But yeah, this is what is gonna be the next video. So, tune in, subscribe, whatever. I'll see you all then. Have a good night.